Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be vinyl finds, music finds, whatever you want to call it. This is actually vinyl and CD finds. As is my custom every month, I show what I picked up throughout the month, and I have a few things here. Did not really shop at many record stores in July. I went to a couple up in Pennsylvania when I was visiting my in-laws, kind of in the middle of the month, and saw some neat stuff. Saw one record that I almost grabbed, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted, so I put it back. So not really any used finds per se. However, I do have a couple of used records that were given to me that I'm figuring out what to do with, and then I've got a couple of CDs. So I've got some used stuff. I've got a few brand new albums here. I have some reissues that I am going to show. So all that to say, let's get into it. So I'll start with a couple of the used finds the used records. My in-laws had this laying around. This is the Souther Hillman Furay Band, obviously J.D. Souther, Chris Hillman, Richie Furay, who had a country rock trio here. They put out 2 records. I already had this record, and I grabbed this to see if it was, they were just going to give it to Goodwill. So I said, let me take it. My copy was a little bit better shape, so this one is going to go into the sell pile, but I'm really neat. I'm really big into collecting all of the Birds adjacent stuff, and Chris Hillman was in the Birds. So grab that from them. They also had a few Christmas things. This is one of those classic, like Time Life, Columbia Christmas albums, Christmas Greetings Volume 2. This one I'm probably going to keep. It's just a good little comp. It has Barbra Streisand, Johnny Cash, Johnny Mathis, Percy Faith, Leonard Bernstein, Mitch Miller. So I'm going to hang on to that, play it in a few months. And then they also had a copy of Cosmo's Factory by CCR. Now, I have all of the craft reissues of this that came out. I did not own an original. I'm going to play it. I haven't played it yet, see what I think. And yeah, if it's, if it's so different than the other one that I have, then I'll keep it. Otherwise, this is probably going to head over to the record store. So those are the used things. I did go to my record store earlier in the month for a album listening party. I'll show the album in a minute, but I picked this up when I was there. This is Miles Davis Plus 19, also called Miles Ahead. This is a really cool set. It's Miles Davis and Gil Evans, so it's got a lot of orchestration on it. Really plays well in terms of just a listening experience. The liner notes on the back kind of compare it to being of the same caliber as Kind of Blue, Sketches of Spain, and I can definitely see that. This is from 1957, and really enjoyed it. So happy to add that to my Miles CD collection. I did a review on this. I'll just show it again. This is The Numbers, My Beautiful Existence. This was given to me by the band, Terry and Larry Tudor brothers. I really appreciate this. I do have a review on this if you want to check it out. And Terry and Larry, if you're watching, I know you've watched a few of my videos. Thanks again for this. Great power pop from 2026. If you don't have it already, grab it. My Beautiful Distance by The Numbers. So happy to have that. And then the last CD, a lot of other people were showing this. I thought about maybe talking about it a little bit. I didn't. I just didn't have that much to say. I got this actually when the day before I was going to Pennsylvania for the week to visit my in-laws and to celebrate my wife and I's anniversary. But I did grab Foreign Tongues by the Rolling Stones. I really loved Hackney Diamonds, their last effort. And this is produced by the same guy, Andrew Watt. Kind of the same configuration of album setup. You have one song that is featuring Charlie Watts, the drummer, posthumously. But then you have all sorts of guest stars. You have Robert Smith from The Cure. You've got Steve Winwood all over this thing. You've got Paul McCartney playing bass. You have, one Keith Richards song on here where he sings lead. It's got some good stuff. It is, I think what everybody's talking about is how long it is. It's a very long record. It doesn't flow the same as Hackney Diamonds does, in my opinion. The first few tracks are really good. I love Rough and Twisted, In the Stars, Jealous Lover. Mr. Charm is a little bit repetitive. Ringing Hollow is pretty good. So it's got some good stuff, and I've given it 2 spins, so I'm going to need a little bit more time with it. We'll see how it ends up on my year-end ranking of favorite albums. So that does it for the used and CDs. So let me just show a couple of albums that are not new or reissues, and then everything else are going to be new and reissues. I did a short video on this. This came through Amazon by mistake. This is the debut by Ace Frehley. This is part of the Kiss solo album release, where all 4 members released an album on the same day with the Kiss logo. So it's kind of put out with the approval of Kiss. This had the big hit on it, New York Groove, which Ace did a fantastic job of. And I was gonna sell it. I decided not to. I haven't opened it yet because I was still like, well, maybe I'll sell it, maybe I won't. I'm probably not going to sell it. What's neat about this, though, is that it has the drummer Anton Fig on it, who I just saw playing with Bob Dylan about a week ago at the time of recording this. So pretty neat to have that. It's also got Russ Ballard associated with this, who is from the group Argent, and I'm a Zombies fan. So yeah, I've got that. Everybody has said to hang on to it, so I'm going to listen to the people. What I was supposed to get was this album right here. And I should say, I did a video a few days ago with a fantastic package that I received from my buddy Aaron Mutha Alamer, who hasn't put out a video in a while. Aaron, we miss you. We love you, man. I know you're doing well. I know you're enjoying time in the new music room, but we miss you. You're a great presence on YouTube. Everybody loves you. Aaron sent me a fantastic package full of records, mostly Beach Boys stuff. He sent me a stereo copy from the 1970s of this album. This is the Beach Boys Christmas album. Amazon was having a killer deal on this. It was like $12, and I had to get it. This is the mono version, so now I have a stereo and a mono. Really happy to have it. I actually listened to it the other day. I enjoy Christmas music all year long. I don't listen to Christmas music all year long, but it does not bother me like it does so many other people. And I just wanted to see if it played through, if I needed to return it, and it did, and it sounded really good. So Beach Boys mono Christmas album. All right, everything else is going to be, I have 4 new releases and then 4 reissues. So I'll start with the new ones. I mentioned that I went to my local record shop at the beginning of the month, I think the 6th or the 7th, and they were having a listening party for the brand new album by Jack White called Frozen Charlotte. Now, I am not necessarily a Jack White fan. Although what's funny is when I look at Jack White's catalog, I now own 3 Jack White solo records. I own this one, I own Entering Heaven Alive, and I own Lazaretto, the first 2 on CD. This is my first Jack White on vinyl. But they were giving away some really cool stuff, and I just enjoy a listening party. So I grabbed this. I thought it was really a good album, and actually it's really rising in the ranks. I'm starting to question my, disdain for Jack White. Not that I ever had, disdain. It was more like, I was just indifferent to his music. Always respected him. But this was cool. Frozen Charlotte, bluesy, rocky, classic Jack White. I was able to get at the listening party this little sheet of stamps. And that's an art piece that Jack made. That's on the cover. So this is it's just interesting. That came with purchase of the record. And then I also grabbed, these were also for free. They had Frozen Charlotte, like laminate, rules of listening when listening to the album. So it's stuff like, save the album in its entirety to your device. This will ensure smooth playback. And then rule B, support your local independent retailers when acquiring the new album. But then there's like some funny things like, do do enjoy new music at a reasonable distance from source to avoid hurting one's ears. Do not listen to the new album in a tornado. So just kind of a fun thing. Jack is always about kind of adding little goodies and stuff, but this is really, really solid. I really like the song God in the Broken Ribs. There's Nobody There is good. Dollar Bill is really good. Yeah, just bluesy, rocky, great kind of tones on the guitar. It came on this cool blue vinyl with the custom label. There's the skull, and then there's the little head from the statue. So Frozen Charlotte by Jack White, I'm really enjoying it, and that's coming from somebody that does not claim to be a Jack White fan. So I'm happy to own this, and I've listened to it about 3 times now and really like it. This is an album that I thought about doing a review for, but held off on. I still might. We'll see. This is a album called Slow Accordion. Those of you that follow me on my Americana Sam Instagram saw me post this. This is an instrumental album. It's a super group consisting of Oliver Wood, Matt Glassmeyer, Mark Raudabaugh, and Ted Pecchio. Now, if you know my channel, you know how much I love the Wood Brothers. This is Oliver Wood, the guitarist and lead singer of the Wood Brothers, playing guitar. This is just their first effort, again, slow accordion. And what it is it's a album that came out of a jam session of these guys. Ted Pecchio plays bass in Oliver Wood's band, his solo band, and I've seen him now twice. But this is a really, really groovy, funky, organ-based, kind of crunchy slide guitar, instrumental jam album. If you like that kind of stuff, I don't really know like where to categorize this, and I don't categorize music really. This is just funky, groovy. I talked about like it's got like a slinky bass feel from Ted Pecchio all over it. Really, really good. If you like, you people that love coal mine records and stuff like that, this could fit in because it's got the organ, it's got the bass, it's got kind of some groovy guitar runs, and yeah, fantastic playing by all these gentlemen. And the fact that it came out of a jam session is really something. So Slow Accordion, really go check it out. It's going to be worth your time. Fantastic stuff. I really, really like it. This came as a gift from Adam from the group The Freight. Adam has a channel here. This is a maxi single, 12-inch from The Freight called Don't Know Where. And it is cut by, mastered and lacquer cut by Ryan K. Smith out of Nashville. So this is one of the vinyl community's own here. Really, really solid. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, there's Adam playing his axe up there. There he is. So very, very happy to get this. Adam reached out. He asked if I would be interested, and yeah, happy to own this, Adam. I really appreciate it. Rock band, and I admit I have not listened to it yet. I've just had so much to do and to listen to in the meantime, but I got it in my to play pile, Adam. So thank you so much for this. Very, very kind. I really appreciate it. I know I've seen some other people in the vinyl community show this, and I'm very happy that he reached out. So Adam, thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate it. And then lastly, from the new albums, new music, this is The Head and the Heart live at Numos. This was kind of a surprise because The Head and the Heart have really put out a lot of material in the last year and a half. They put out the album Aperture last summer. They had a Record Store Day reissue called Ghost in the Machinery, where they were kind of stripped back versions of songs from Aperture in like an EP format. This is a live album from 2011. It was recorded in 2011. And this is recorded in Numos in Seattle, Washington. This was around the time of their first album. So all of the songs from the first album make an appearance. It's a 2-record set. They also do a version of T is for Texas, and then there's an unreleased song called Long Time Away, which they say is a new song, but was never really recorded. So it's a raw recording, but it's kind of a nice snapshot into the Head and the Heart's early days. And again, longtime viewers of the channel know how much of a fan I am of the Head and the Heart, and to have this album with the original lineup is really cool to have, and I'm happy to have it. So it's also, if you're curious, on clear wax. So very, very cool to have that. So now I have a couple of reissues here, two of which are Rhino High Fidelities. So I'll start with those. These first two I just got this week. Actually, the first one I ordered a while back, but because my wife and I were on vacation in Pennsylvania, I had it delivered to my parents' house because I did not want it sitting on our porch in the sun. And that is the new reissue of the debut by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Now, I've never owned this album on any format, and when Rhino announced it, I said, yeah, I've got to go ahead and get it. Obviously, you have Graham Nash, Stephen Stills, David Crosby. This is, if you're going to own an album by them, it's this one. This has Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. It has Marrakesh Express on it. It has so many of those great tracks. 49 Bye-Byes, Helplessly Hoping, one of my favorite Crosby, Stills, and Nash songs. And because it's Rhino, it sounds great. There's the gatefold of the guys, and I'm just so happy to have this. I played it a couple days ago. It sounds wonderful. And again, Rhino just continues to knock it out of the park, just like they did with this, which I just got today. So this just comes in for July. Got this on July the 31st. This is Astral Weeks by Van Morrison. Now, I did own a copy thanks to Aaron Mutha Alamere. He sent me a copy a couple years ago. I had the other Rhino Hi-Fi version of a Van Morrison record that they had put out, which was his band, The Street Choir. That was one of the first Hi-Fi albums that came out in the series. And so it's been a long time since they've done something for Van. I think that was 3 years ago now. So I had to get Astral Weeks on Hi-Fi, and it's such a great record. It's so full of jazz and Irish folk and just stream of consciousness, and Van just riffing off of the band. This is an album you can't just listen to individual tracks. There were a couple of songs that kind of made it as, quote, singles with Sweet Thing and The Way Young Lovers Do, which when I saw Van, that's what he opened with. He opened with The Way Young Lovers Do and then went right into Sweet Thing, which was fantastic. I'll never forget it. But the epic song, Madam George, the title track, the song Cypress Avenue, it's just wonderful, wonderful music. A lot of people consider it to be one of the greatest albums ever. It's kind of the unofficial, official debut by Van. Came out 1968, so I hope Rhino keeps doing this. I would love to see so many more Van Morrison albums. I would love to see St. Dominic's Preview come out like this. I would love to see Tupelo Honey, but I know that there are, copyright and all that stuff. So Astral Weeks, and then, it comes with a little Obi strip here. So happy to have those two by Rhino. This came out earlier this year, also from Rhino, and my dad actually sent me this. This is an album and a band that I'd never heard a note of, and that is Flamin' Groovy's Shake Some Action. This is fantastic. Rhino came out with a bunch of records in a series they're calling Spirit of 76 in honor of America's 250th, as well as the 50th anniversary of these albums that came out in 1976. Flamin' Groovy's, again, had some big albums. I know their album Teenage Head is something that's talked about a lot. This thing sounds like it's straight from the mid-60s because of how they are produced. It's very muddy sounding. It has a power pop and a jangle pop sound. It's just a wonderful, wonderful power pop record. This is a 2-record set. I think it sounds fantastic. The second disc, side 3, has some alternate mixes and a couple of covers. They do a version of Sweet Little 16, the Chuck Berry tune. Side 4, it's a lot of live stuff from the Roxy in 1976 out of Hollywood, including a version of Please Please Me by the Beatles. So, Dad, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed that. I am now a Flamin' Groovies fan. And again, I understand that a lot of their stuff, is more garage rock, but this has me interested. So, thank you, Dad, for that. And then lastly, one of my favorite record labels, Real Gone Music, put this thing out in July. This is the self-titled debut by Doc Watson, flat picker extraordinaire. Big influence on artists like Tony Rice, Norman Blake, Billy Strings. This is the guy that kind of started it all for that fast flat picking. This is like more of a traditional folk album, and I recommend Elliot Cruz. If you don't know Elliot's channel, go check it out. Elliot CREWS. He did a review of this, and he said it perfectly. This is more of a folk album. This isn't a bluegrass or country album. This is a folk album. He's doing stuff like Tom Dooley. He's doing stuff like Sitting on Top of the World, St. James Hospital, which Tony Rice does cover. This is just a wonderful record. Again, Real Gone does such a great job. They've put out a couple of Tony Rice records as well. But I kind of went in blind on this, had to get it from 1964. And yeah, Doc's singing is fantastic. And to think that he, played the way he played and was blind is wonderful. They reissued it on this blue vinyl on the old Vanguard label. So very, very cool. I've played this, I think, 3 times, and it's wonderful. It's pretty much just solo Doc. He's playing guitar, harmonica. He plays banjo. He does the vocals, but he does an a cappella version of Talk About Suffering, which Tony Rice does with Ricky Skaggs on the Skaggs and Rice album. So that's a lot of talking. I'm going to stop. Thank you all for sticking with me if you have so far. Thank you all for watching the videos. I've had a couple of videos recently. I've gotten a lot of nice comments. My Bob Dylan review really did well for me. I really appreciate it. Nothing different about that video. In fact, that video is worse than a lot of my videos because I'm sitting in a car with just headlights shining in my face. So thank you all for watching that. Almost 2,000 views on that. And for everybody that watched the Herb Alpert review with my mom, that was a lot of fun. One of my favorite videos that I've done thus far. So thanks to my mom and to everybody who watched that and gave nice comments to her. So wrapping it up. In the meantime, y'all be good. Take care. Let me know what you got, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.